Hello there, welcome to The Sacred Journey. The Sacred Journey is the program that reminds you that life is a wonderful adventure and each and every experience we have is a unique and perfect opportunity for learning. Tonight's program has some really powerful content, so I want to be sure to get it right. Medical outreach in supportive care to the poorest area in America. And I'm so thrilled to have with me my dear friend Elaine Reynolds. I met Elaine because she is the medical outreach coordinator for Hawkwing, and you've heard me talk about Hawkwing with deep love and affection and respect in my heart. And Elaine, thank you for joining us, and I want to share that you are a registered nurse, drug and alcohol counselor. You do auricular work, which we're going to get in with substance abuse, but you are the coordinator for the entire medical outreach program at Hawkwing, and that is no little thing. And if our viewers have been watching, they know how many different facets there are. But I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about the history of it, what you do, why, where, and poorest place in the United States.
Yes, thank you very much for having me here
My
tonight,
pleasure.
Joyce. I started to work with Hawkwing. I actually met Rochelle through a mutual friend of ours, and I was a nurse at that time, and I really just started out collecting durable medical equipment, things like wheelchairs, walkers, all the things that you need if you are disabled or elders. The very hard thing to understand is here when Grandma needs a walker, we pick up the phone and Medicare will pay and Grandma will get fitted with a therapist to her walker. She'll be taught how to use it. On the reservation, since it's not the same kind of health care that's available to the people, those things don't happen. So we're able to bring things out that are donated, no longer in use, and that's how I first got involved with
How
Hawkwing.
long ago was that, Elaine?
That was,
I'm trying to remember. It was,
I'd say going on 10 years
that's
ago.
what my
10
guess
years
would have
ago.
been.
And I started out by, packing Christmas boxes, and as we started to grow, we were able to reach out to other medical professionals, and we were able to go to the reservation. And this reservation is by U.S. Census of 2010, the poorest area of our country, and figures don't lie.
And we've seen that in
Yes,
action. It
absolutely.
is mind-boggling.
So we were able to go out as a team, and it was very interesting when we first went out because of the historical trauma that the Native people have certainly gone through and continue to go through. It took a while for us to be able to kind of get out there and introduce ourselves, and we started working with the very few nurses that were there, and then we got introduced to their families, and then word spread that we were there to help. And our team is very holistic. So many of us, beside our medical professions, are naturopathic practitioners, healers, herbalists. So that very essence of who our team started out as and then has continued to grow to be helped, introduce us as well, because we weren't coming out with straight Western medicine. We were coming out in a very traditional way with a lot of natural things as well. And so that opened the door for us.
Now, I know that you personally do some auricular work, and I'm going to let you explain to what that is to our viewers. It is such powerful stuff, and you are specific to a couple of the great needs that are out there, and I have seen this in action, and it blew me away because you could see the physical response to what you do. So I'll ask you to share a little bit
absolutely.
more about that.
And I'm trained in what's called the NADA protocol, and that stands for the National Association of Detoxification Acupuncturists. It's a very simple protocol. It is 5 auricular points that is done in each ear. And it was developed out of a city hospital in New York for people that have addictions to alcohol and certainly to drugs. And they found that by using these auricular points, it could be used at any time during a person's stage of their addiction, whether they were still active, whether they were contemplating recovery, whether they had walked into the beginning steps of recovery, or trying to maintain their recovery. And it's a very simple protocol, and it is very powerful. So by placing these auricular points, no matter where you are in your walk to recovery, it's helpful. It helps you prepare yourself. It's grounding. It addresses other things besides the physical addiction. And if you think in the venue of the 4 directions, it treats the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, and the mental.
With needles. You're actually using needles.
By hitting the points and addressing the meridians. And in doing so, I learned this as I was working with veterans and who had problems with addiction, and I myself have trauma, and so it was used for my diagnosis.
Because you're a veteran.
I am. I'm a veteran
of
the Vietnam era, and I was actually in the first group of women that were in the regular army. They had dissolved the Women's Army Corps, and we were the first ones to go through as regular army. And the military was not prepared for us to be functioning, and that
no surprise there.
No, and so we paved a way, and it was not easy, and so many of us had a lot of ghosts that still ride with us. And so in my having this auricular therapy and how it literally saved my life, I decided to become trained on it and use it in different venues. Being a nurse, it fit in beautifully with the care that I give my clients. And also with my background in drug and alcohol counseling, it certainly helps with the people that I work with. So in doing that, we found once it was taken out of the addiction piece and brought to hospice, brought to people with diagnoses of PTSD and trauma, people with depression. So this use of this auricular therapy has expanded throughout the medical fields.
And I know one of the hopes and plans is to help people on the reservation to learn how to do it, to get trained in it,
Absolutely.
to continue their care.
Our goal is to bring training out. We have to have the right trainers. And, we have got to identify the group of people that can be our first group of people on the reservation to be trained, to actually practice the protocol. We hope to attach it through their drug and alcohol program, or perhaps through their tribal health program. And from there, it will just grow. But it is, something that does require a good, solid background in theory and in practice. And it's, something that you do in sharing your own healing, you're healing as well. It's amazing. By providing the service, it helps you as well.
And I have seen at the health fairs that we're at, these great big guys come in and go, I don't know about this. And you can see a little bit of unrest and anxiety.
Yes, absolutely.
And you
The
do your
tapping
yes,
and
and you do your magic, and in moments, what are they doing?
you know, they start to calm down, and they probably start to nap.
Yes, that
And
surprised me.
many of these veterans or people that have experienced, you know, the traumas that repeatedly happen to them and the families out there, to just see them rest is such a blessing.
And some of them open up when they hadn't even acknowledged.
Absolutely. It
issues.
just opens the door, and, you know, they'll start to talk, or, you know, you'll see the tears start to come. And sometimes it shakes them a little bit because they feel like they're not controlling.
But there also is such a thread that weaves through everything of genuine caring and compassion.
Absolutely.
I think the people that you bring with you, and I'm honored to be one of them, but excluding myself, the people you bring are so loving, so dedicated, so compassionate, so highly trained, so well respected in their field. And this is a volunteer thing.
Yes, it is.
Nobody gets paid. Nobody gets their way
No,
paid.
not at all.
People take time out of their private practices or their retirement. And you have offered, and I know I will be forgetting things, medical care, dental care, auricular therapy, drug and alcohol counseling. We had a social worker come out with women's issues,
Absolutely.
domestic violence. I've done hypnotherapy. I've done energy work. I'll be bringing yoga out there, meditation. I know we have a lactation specialist, a respiratory therapist.
Absolutely.
I'm missing something. I know you
Yes,
have organized
yes,
and brought these kind of services.
Yes, and it's what's so amazing is the people that are supposed to be there that year somehow arrive. And we essentially are all cut out of the same piece of cloth, no matter what our specialties are. So we are able to gel. What is so exciting now is initially when we went, we started working closely with tribal health.
Explain
And
what tribal health is to our viewers.
tribal health is through the tribe, the medical piece of the community health resources, women's health department, the drug and alcohol program, domestic violence program. And this is through the tribe where IHS provides the doctors and the pediatricians.
And IHS is?
Indian Health Services. Okay. So they share a building, but they don't do the same thing. And then when we're able to come as they got their new building and they got stronger and they had more practitioners, and we had done a lot of sharing of teaching, it kind of got to the point where we could take our care out to the outer districts of the reservation. And that's what's so exciting now, because the main hub of Eagle Butte is where the majority of the practitioners are. Some of the outer districts are 90 miles out.
Dirt road 90 miles
Dirt
out.
road, no vehicles. Per capita income is $2,936 a year. So the priority is of course to keep the heat on and the food.
Yeah.
So
we've done nutritional counseling
a
too
lot
there.
of it as well, and we've combined nicely with the holistic piece in sharing how to do organic growing and how to cook properly and take their traditional recipes and be able to get those types of things together.
And I want to stress to our viewers, in the title, the poorest areas in America. And the life expectancy is 48. We've said that to our viewers in the past, but think
Yes.
about that. 48. There are diabetes numbers that are off the charts. I mean, suicide, depression, the medical needs, the emotional needs are so great. Like you said, if someone here needs a wheelchair, we pick up the phone and that happens, or a
Yes.
walker. We have brought hospital beds, we've brought walkers, we've brought wheelchairs and canes, and I know that you have a way of letting people there know, our viewers, what they can do to help.
Yes, absolutely. Certainly, to get involved with us, you would go to our website at hawkwing.org, and then you can see the different things that we do. And if you're specifically interested in helping with the medical outreach, then you can call me directly.
Okay, and your information will be shared at the end of the show for people.
Yes, and certainly it's often by word of mouth as well, through the medical practices here or people that are involved in the medical field. So we just kind of gather our thoughts and we put together a plan. But as I was saying, that we are now going out to outer districts that the people cannot get in for care. And it's so wonderful that we are starting to work in these outer districts. And we bring vitamins and we bring supplements.
Oh, that's right. Vitamin Angels.
Yes,
we
we
supply
do.
lots
We
of
do.
vitamins for women
Yes,
and children.
women and children. We bring, vitamins and supplements for the elders. Again, good nutritional teaching.
We run the food bank
And we run the
from
food
here
bank.
to there.
We do that. And so it grows. And that's a good thing. And
That's
it
a very good
continues to
thing.
grow.
Just thinking of, my personal experience of going out to the res. I go out twice a year now. I go with the medical team and I go with Helping Hands. Every time you go, you see more need, but you also see greater appreciation and more impact of what we're doing.
Yes.
They did those towers to plant vegetables so that you don't need a lot of ground and a lot of water, a lot
Right.
of space.
Well, part of the medical issues, of course, are because of the toxicity of the grounds. I don't know that people know this, but open pit uranium mines were left all along those states.
I think 11,000 open,
The
or something
tailings,
like that.
blow across. The ground is contaminated. Some of the rivers are contaminated. And, when you're hungry, you're still going to fish, and you're going to eat the fish. And so
And you're going to have to drink the water because we go and buy bottled water.
Absolutely.
When you live on 2,000
So the rates
a
of
year.
cancer are very high. Women still die of cervical cancer out there, one of our most treatable cancers. And there's reasons for that. The late term miscarriages, the percentage of loss does equal third world. And these are things that should not be happening, especially here in our country.
And the pipeline now threatens, I don't want to get political, but I'd like people to be informed and find out and do your research. The pipeline threatens the well-being.
It threatens the only
many
water
nations.
source of many reservations. And it doesn't affect just the native people, it certainly affects all of the people
Everyone's
that
health.
live in the area. And, to have that aquifer be in danger of being toxic, which we know will happen. All the pipelines leak. And, to the people, they will have no water. The land will have toxic water. The animals will be poisoned and die. And it's the Native people that are standing up to save not only their way of life and to ensure that their children will have clean water, but they're doing it for all of us because it affects all of us. And we are all going to be poisoned by
But
this
people
type
think, well,
of thing.
I live on this coast and that pipeline's just running right through. I don't need to worry about it. And they're misinformed or underinformed. I'll say
Absolutely.
underinformed. So I do invite people to do some research on that. But getting back to things that people can do to help, we always can use monetary donations because we know where the needs are. And Rochelle Ripley, our founder, was on in CNN Top 10 Hero recently. Peter Riley was on, Annie Brown was on, a lot of our medical team was on. I'm hoping to have Dr. Kathleen Riley on. I really want to share with people more about what makes Hawkwing tick and run. Blankets, we have brought out blankets because many people didn't have the warmth they need, winter coats and boots. But I will encourage people, as I'm sure you would support, to contact Hawkwing to see what is really needed because we cannot have boxes of things and no way to get them out there. So
Right.
find out what the need is and then find out
Right.
how you can help. So if you have medical skill or expertise, you're the person to contact.
Absolutely.
Other kinds of donations, they can contact maybe Debbie or Rochelle. But we have
Yes.
2 minutes left. What do you want to be sure that our viewers really understand about this medical outreach program?
Well, I think the most thing I would want them to know is how necessary it is for it to continue. IHS, Indian Health Services, under the Bureau of Indian Affairs, is one of the first budgets to get completely chopped away. And so the more that we can get out and support, and especially share knowledge and share training. And so we've been able to do that over the years, and so we've seen the people have some hope and engage and want to learn and be able to continue on with these works.
And this is an election year, and I would strongly encourage people, do your research, find out who is supportive of the earth, the land, of all peoples, of indigenous nations, of restoring that sense of balance. People need to become better educated because I think they would be shocked and maybe appalled if they really looked at things that are happening. So thank you so much for, I know how busy you are, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share your gifts and your knowledge. And I do hope that people were listening and will really listen. So thank you. Please contact Elaine or Hawkwing. See if you can find out more. See if there's something you can do to help. Thanks for joining us on The Sacred Journey. We'll see you next week.